eyes that shine so bright. Reach out over the ocean waves and try to come to life. Don't let go of the bright blue sky, because the future's looking far too light. Are you ready for a long dive ship to set sail and carry me through the starry night? Dream of me whenever you are feeling oh so lonely. Try to leave your fears behind. We are locked in an orbit racing round the docks of moonlit woods that make a light. Keep your eyes on mine. Touchdown on the surface of my heart. The feeling's ever gone. A brave adventurer like me remembers everywhere that I've come from. Keep your feet to the vacuum sky, cause it's surrounding us out here. Follow the trail of the stardust of the ones that came before us, and we'll see what we've always been there. Dream of me whenever you are feeling oh so lonely. Try to leave your fears behind. We are locked in an orbit racing round the docks of moonlit woods that make a light. Keep your eyes on mine.
And now you close your eyes. They just haven't seen it. They just haven't seen it. And now you close your eyes. They just haven't seen it. 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 And now you close your eyes. They just haven't seen it. They just haven't seen it. They just haven't seen it. They just haven't seen it.
Cold light falling on the ground. Long day, but we won't back down. One thing playing on our minds. Long wait, but we won't give up now. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. We are the champions of the night. We are the champions of the night. Yeah. We are the fighting tide, the ones that burn so bright. We are the champions of the night. Champions of the night. down. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. We are the champions of the night. We are the champions of the night. Yeah. We are the fighting tide, the ones that burn so bright. We are the champions of the night. I'm ready to love.
pretty good season for both teams so far. Obviously, one will have to stain their record a bit more. And to take it away with me, it's going to be my friend Last, joining me last second, to make the obvious pun. And how are you feeling, man, for Team Front versus Team Verum?
I'm feeling pretty good. We were talking about it a little bit before we got into it, you know, how both of these teams are sitting at an identical scoreline of 2-1 on the season. So like you said, one of them is going to have to go to that 3-1 scoreline. The other one's going to have to fall to the even 2-2. And if I had to pick one, just looking at their performances versus other teams in the league, my money, if I have to put it where my mouth is going to be on Verum tonight.
Right.
I know that might be a little bit of a controversial call, but going into this round one with the Pistols, I'm interested to see how this plays out. It's certainly going to be, I think this is going to go down to the wire, to be real with you. What about you?
Well, I mean, all of Team Front, in every single game they have played so far, it has not gone any less close than 16-13. So obviously it'll get off to a bang. And speaking of which, Mirth just kind of watches for initial contact being made over towards upper B. That is actually when Ajax is going to toss out a brilliant nade. So much damage done. And last, I think it definitely will go down to the wire, but right now it seems very good for Team Verum.
This is an interesting pistol push for Verum, but Drug's going to pick up the first kill on Ajax to get an early man advantage. But I do really like how Front is just having a very, very synchronized push. They're not going to split up early. They're not going to give Verum the opportunity to pick off a single player. They're just going to push in all as one big unit, get that bomb down real quick, and now they're going to be trying to hold down this site. Verum, though, picking Mirth and Jonesy with a coordinated push, picking up 2-8. Mirth picking up the third and Jonesy picking up the fourth. This coordinated push from Front has been completely taken apart, with Bishop being the last one remaining and getting pushed by two at once, falling. And that's going to be round one going to Verum.
Just incredibly patient play from Team Verum right there. I think completely won them the round. How it started, you know, going down to a 4v5, that's never a good look. But how it ended was definitely a lot better. I think in particular, if there's one player I wanted to point out, it was Mirth, staying alive so long in the back of sight, eventually kind of whittled away that player who was sitting by the oil tanker and, you know, eventually did the job, got the kill, and Team Verum will take that first round. So off to a good start. Your prediction does seem to ring true, but look at the second round.
That nade hit SGM for almost his entire life. And if you're talking about standout performances in that round one, I do have to give props to my boy Jonesy, of course, picking up 3 kills off the bat. You know, I'm going to be watching him for the rest of the night after that opening performance. Throwing out this smoke here, going to try and push in against the scouts from SGM. Let's see if he can make something happen or if the FAMAS will fall.
Looks like they want to fall back a little bit. And rotate in, or perhaps?
Mills going to throw out the flashbang before trying to push up further into the site, but Front seems a little bit hesitant to make this push. They made the push round one and got punished pretty hard for it once Verum swarmed on them during the retake. So now they're playing it much, much more slowly here to try and match the tempo that Verum showed them in that pistol. They see that the stairs are smoked off, but they don't know that Ajax is chilling here. Out comes the Molotov, and that does a bit of damage to Ecstasy. Let's see. Oh my goodness, what a shot! He was caught completely unaware. Mills had no idea that Bishop was coming for him, but Ajax picks up 2 on the site before Bishop and Drugs even knew what hit them.
And also keep in mind that Bishop, he just died to fall damage right there. Straight up. He didn't even want to take a fight. And time is of the essence here. Only a couple seconds left, and SGM, who's tagged down from that grenade previously, will just have to get away with it. And thing is, that's not going to be nearly as easy as you might want or believe to be, because this was a force up from Team Front into round number 2. It didn't really amount to much of anything. And luckily, SGM does get away with the scout, so he lives to tell the tale, but money is really not good, and that force-up was not a gamble worth taking. So into round 3, it should be Team Verum taking it if they just kind of play their cards correctly. I love how they slowed down the pace, and although they didn't take a ton of map control, it still kind of did the job perfectly because Team Front weren't really eager to take it either. Nice, huge, healthy grenade, man.
After the force-up, from front to move into round
Uh-oh.
2. They're going to need almost a miracle to take round 3, especially against the full buy from Verum. But starting off the bat, Front isn't off to a terrible start. You know, taking out Subarashi to open it up and putting Mills in a very, very precarious situation, which Grave Capybara is going to capitalize on. And this, all of a sudden, off of the force buy, is going to go into a 4v1. Ajax all on his lonesome with but a rifle to hold
HP
on
though.
to, and he's just going to run away. He's going to give up sight control. This fight is not worth his life.
Is it worth it though? Because
Is
he's
it?
going
Hang
for
on.
it, man. It's a 1v4 and the HP of all these players are low. He's already taken down the first. This is far from an impossible task, but Team Front are playing this really, really smart. They're all grouped up. This is a perfect position to trade out.
Takes out Capybara on the rotate around, but he's behind the train. Let's see if he can push up or if he'll just get got. He's seen by one of the front players, but I don't think
can't
he
go for
knows
this.
that Bishop is here. He has no idea, and he's just going to retreat. He's going to let the bomb go off, and he's going to let the round fall to Team Front, picking up their first. But I do really like that he did at least get the capitalization on Grave Capybara being out of position on the site.
Yeah, well, they made the most out of a pretty crappy situation. Getting a kill, getting away with a gun. But that is a round that Team Verum, you know, for all intents and purposes, probably shouldn't have lost. They just kind of got overwhelmed. They're trying to set each other up from trades. I look at Mills in particular, trying to slowly push up towards T-Con, and he just eventually got whittled away. It was really, again, patient play by Team Front that made a huge, huge difference. And Team Front are going to be rewarded for it.
Seeming like it's going to be the story of this game is just patience is going to win out in the end. But I do really want to agree with you that, hey,
What a shot, dude.
you won the pistol, you won the force up, and then you lose the following round on the save. That's a fantastic play from Front, and now they're making it count with their newfound rifles, picking up 3 on the push into sight. SGM, Bishop, and Capybara are still living, getting the bomb down, and let's see if they can make this their second to tie up the scoreline. We see Jonesy and Mirth trying to do their best to push in from sight in a pincer, and SGM is going to get caught unawares, pushing up on the ladder. That's another pick from Mirth, and we're going to be even 2 men apiece. That's going to be another one from Jonesy, but he doesn't know that Capybara is behind him, but Capybara is going to be hurt very severely on this, and Mills is going to be able to pick up the final kill to close it out, putting another point on the board for Team Verum.
Mirth to actually find that final kill, but hey, the 2 M's, they actually seem to turn over and give a W instead to Team Verum. It's a beautiful round on a force-up, mind you, so it was incredibly important that Team Verum do convert that. But I think that kind of goes to show that they felt that one was a bit of a fluke. You know, maybe they got completely caught off guard by the pace that Team Front brought to the table in that prior round. And so they said, all right, you know what, give it another go. Let's go again. Let's see how much better we do. And that has to be a nice testament to their form. So they will be rewarded for their efforts, and we'll have more guns to speak of. Team Front, I was going to say, do they actually look up the pace here? But no, they're still back over towards A main, or towards T-Con, excuse me, ready to burst out onto site.
And Verum is throwing a whole lot of utility out early onto the
this is
site
so
just
smart.
to make sure that they can hold it down pretty securely, but in comes Front, and they're going to capitalize on Subarashi, on Mills,
kills.
and on Mirth all at the same time. A beautifully executed, coordinated push, and that's going to be yet again Front holding down the site, waiting for the retake from Verum. He almost got the spray transfer, but Drugs barely survived, so X2C is going to be the only casualty of that interaction, which was looking like it might cause 2 to fall.
Might be the only fatality of this round as well. The only casualty. Ajax is healthy, but only has a max 7 in tow. I would imagine here he's probably going to try to go closer to the bomb after the round ends, pick up a rifle, give yourself maybe a better chance into this next round. But if you keep an eye on the forecast for the economy, it's still not going to be good looking for the CT side. They lose here, and their money
This is really interesting because of the fact that we've seen twice in a row from Team Front, them winning rounds that by all intents and purposes they shouldn't be winning. Every time Verum sets themselves up to win an easy round, Team Front manages to play super duper well and take it. Every time Team Verum looks like they shouldn't be winning the round that they're in, they somehow take it and keep the score in their favor. This is shaping up to be very, very interesting.
And it's still early days as well. I think Team Front, a bit more of a brawly style, definitely is doing them well. Team Verum seem a bit overwhelmed when there's a number of people they have to aim down at. I think that
Ajax
round...
needs to be careful here. Throws the molly up top to try and cut off that rotation, force them down into the stairs where his arms are ready and waiting for them. But Front is just going to decide, I don't want none of that. We're going to get out of here. Tossing the bomb to Bishop, and let's see if they make this push off towards maybe an A site plant, maybe not, but oh, Mirth almost had the whole world in the palm of his hands there. But SGM's just going to say, no, no, no. Okay. Beautiful flick from Grave Capybara onto Ajax there in what should have been a kill for Ajax. What do you think of that, Ito? Was that a missed opportunity, or was that just me?
See, it's a missed opportunity on one hand, but if you look at it the other way, you know, this isn't the greatest round in the world for Team Verum. I saw that, but it just, like, I'm going to chalk it up to being unfortunate, you know? Maybe I'm a little bit Team Verum biased, but this is, all in all, a pretty rough round. They came into this with scouts, MP9s, and they're probably only going to get out with a bit more money in their bank after the fact, unless Mills... I'm actually looking at his position right now. He might be able to snatch away an AK-47 and get away to tell the tale. Whoa, what
Mills
a
gets
shot.
the shot onto Grave Capybara, a fantastic one at that. But I don't think he knows about X2C pushing up on top of this train.
Oh,
X2C
wow.
sees him and kills him. That's going to be the capitalization to tie up the scoreline. Fantastic play from Front. And again, we've said it over and over, but just really good patient executions onto site. They never push too early. They never get caught in the traps that Verum is setting up. And they do a really, really good job of knowing exactly when and where they need to be pushing to get the better of this Verum roster.
It does the trick so far, as Team Verum have effectively been pigeonholed into a terrible eco. They only have USPs to show for it, not even upgraded. It's dire affairs for Team Verum. And look at this, they're gambling 4 people over towards B, so they're keeping their hopes high that they can at least read this execute that Team Front are going for, excuse me. But considering how slow and patient, like you've mentioned, it has been, I think a lot of their luck would actually be in info plays. What Mills tried to pull off earlier, where he unfortunately wasn't able to at least find 1 kill, where he was facing off against 2 and SGM shut him down, those are the sort of things that I think are going to be really important for Team Verum down the line. But maybe the stack will work out. Look at where they're going, man. All in the direction of the stack.
So this push right here, they've almost completely committed towards this B bomb site. Meanwhile, so has Verum. This could be the gunfight of the century, or at least of the game, to open up this new round, because both teams have decided to commit pretty hard. X2C is going to open this up. Bishop's going to close it down, taking out both Mills and Subarashi. That's going to be another fall from Verum. Ajax trying to do his best to even it up, but he's going to leave Mirth all on his lonesome. And Front going to close out that round in style, only taking 1 casualty in their entire time.
Oh, that was a little bit scary, though. Team Front, it wasn't even an instance of, oh, they didn't check their corners, tisk, tisk. It was more so the fact that they just weren't expecting a full-on ambush towards the site. It was really well read by Team Verum, because I was a little bit kind of hesitant to say that they had the right idea to all stack towards B, but no. They well read it better than me, just unfortunately the artillery difference is too massive to overcome. And once again, Team Verum will have to deal with the change of pace that Team Front are bringing to the table. And look at this, they're immediately walking out A once more. I'm getting a bit of deja vu last.
This is looking almost identical to the last round. Just a little bit more of a quick execute. Mirth and Jonesy, though, going to quickly clean up the push from Front, and now we're seeing almost an exact opposite. What a flick from Mills there to take out Drugs too. But this is like an exact opposite of the last round, just with 1 less man on Verum. Jonesy is going to take out SGM, and hey, we're still even.
Oh my lord. No one has yet, pulled ahead, but I think this is kind of the right move for Team Verum. Again, they're getting a lot more confident in their sight holds. I think that round was a perfect example of it because it wasn't exactly an imitation of what Team Front were trying for that last round, but every time they have done an A exec so far, they have walked up close to their own smokes and just kind of burst out of them, and Team Verum seemed a lot more familiar with that pace. So they're learning, Team Verum.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of figuring out, hey, Front really likes to push this site like
Ooh.
this. So we're going to counter it with this. And that's a really good thing to see in high-level CS, because that's the thing that separates a good team from a great team, right? A good team, sure, they've got some good players on it. They can aim, they can click on heads. But a great team is going to be able to improvise, adapt, and overcome whatever their opponents are throwing at them, especially in situations like this. So I really like what we're seeing from the Verum roster. But you know what could be interesting? Look at the econ going into the next round, especially from Front. This could push them into a trap if Verum can capitalize in this round.
Oh, but I want to point out something that XTC and Bishop are trying to pull off right now. A flash in towards ladder, and I think they're going to both double drop through. Try to take down Subarashi. It's countered. He actually doesn't toss that Molotov. Sorry, I just wanted to point out that individual play because while Team Verum have been learning, I think that Team Front are constantly still trying to evolve. That was the first time they've gone for such powerful ladder control, and it's got completely shut down. Luckily, they're closing in on Subarashi's position, so it still will be a strong execute. It's just a matter of Team Verum, if they've learned their lesson. The answer seems to be a resounding no, as they're all being taken down here last. There's nothing going the way of Team Verum.
No, it seems like in terms of the strategic areas, these teams are very evenly matched, but when it comes down to it, when it comes to these gunfights and when it comes to these 1v1s during site takes, Verum's just falling a little bit short.
Wait, is Mills going?
But you know who's not falling short? Mills with a long shot onto Grave Capybara. He secured this to be a 1v2. Is he going to try for it?
What?
He absolutely is going to try for it. Oh my goodness, what a flick. And he knows that Bishop has to be there. But does he have the time?
He hears the steps.
No, he does not. He's just going to rotate off. Just hold on to that op. Not let that fall for no reason. And Front is going to take the round. But oh my goodness, that play from Mills almost being able to take that round out of the gutter.
Nasty shot he hit right there. Punishing perhaps the hubris of the attacking Front side. Maybe, you know, it's hubris that can't really be punished because they're still kind of barely eking out the win here. Eking out the lead, I think, is probably the more correct statement to make. Mills is the only person to have any sort of semblance of weaponry other than pistols. And yeah, it's actually probably going to be a bit nasty to deal with. Mirth, he gets one through the smoke to start, and the op, excuse me, isn't quite in the picture yet either. This is a really weird change of pace. Team Front, they're all eager to take fights immediately, but they're not checking their corners. They're being picked off one by one, and things are staying even.
I think the big difference in this round is that
man,
Verum...
the boost!
Oh no! Jonesy, get off the boxes! Run! But the big difference in this round is that Verum knows that they are outgunned here. So, instead of trying to win in straight-up gunfights, they're playing sneaky corners. They're relying on Front making those mistakes, like you mentioned, of not checking those corners. And then when it comes down to it, they're just executing really quickly on those missed opportunities.
No, Mills, he needed that.
But speak of a missed opportunity, Mills is going to drop the op right in the middle of the site. Drugs and Capybara are going to push off onto the B site. They're going to get the bomb down, and now it's this 2v2 AKs versus AK plus op. Let's see what Jonesy can do with this.
They need to move really quickly, though. Time is of the essence, and their shots are apparently the essence of everything that makes Team Verum Verum. That is the op. Brought down the bloodline. A bit of a hand-me-down that hit another crazy shot, but it's like you just said last. Team Verum, they are trying to utilize the fact that they didn't have the greatest util in their hands, the greatest artil, I suppose would be the appropriate phrase for it, and they try going for a bunch of these cheeky angles that maybe aren't going to be part of your usual default. In Team Front, they were caught off guard, but at the end of the day, the rifles really do make such a big difference, and there's only so much that you can expect when you don't have the armor, when you don't have the defuse kits, and kind of start with only pistols. It's a rough go, but a close attempt, that's for sure.
Now we see front. Oh, there he is. SGM going to take out Ajax real quick. I was like in anticipation who's going to take this shot, who's going to make this shot, and it's SGM coming up with the dub once again. Subarashi though, right here, scoped in and going to take out X2C with a fantastic headshot, and now we're seeing the 4-3 man advantage for Verum for the first time in a while. It's actually been a minute since we've seen a full man advantage from Verum, and they are certainly not going to let that go. SGM all by his lonesome with just an op to play with. He is going to stop the defuse, but he can't stop the two-man rush with only an op. That's going to be the next round going for Verum once Jonesy finishes this defuse.
And Team Verum, I like it. Once again, they're kind of adapting to Team Front. Again, another approach from Team Front. I mean, I say all of this in mind, knowing that Team Front are very much adapting too. But it feels like some of these rounds maybe are a little bit random at points. At points, because think about the last time Team Front tried a full-on B execute like that. I think it was around where Team Verum fully saved, and
you're
didn't
right.
check Spindle, and they got caught off guard by a couple of the pistols, but otherwise they cleaned up. They tried it again, and while they did check Spindle, they really weren't aware of the fact that so many people could be behind sight, and so they took a bunch of gunfights, exposed themselves to a bunch of really unfortunate angles, and Team Verum were really easily able to punish them. Small adjustments are definitely making a huge difference. And I think Team Front, maybe not in this round because they only have pistols, but I think that's something that they're going to maybe go back to their old regular A pushes again.
For sure. And I think, like, hey, there's no harm in trying something new, trying something that you haven't done before throughout the map. And sure, didn't work out great. Now you know. Now you can make that call to do something else, right? Going into this next round, I am interested to see where this goes. Oh, this could be big.
Well, they're just assigned to rush B, no stop. When in doubt, plug it out. I mean, it's worked so far. They've gotten the bomb down, plus a kill in their favor. Overall, what a shot by Drugs!
What a shot with the Deagle. Drugs is insane right now, but we are still going to come down to the 2v2 in the end. 1v1. SGM, here's the bomb defusal, but of course it's going to be a fake. Pros don't fake, but Team Verum certainly does.
He doesn't have a kit?
He doesn't have the kit. Oh no.
Oh.
He's going to at least try and get the kill, but he's got to retreat, and that's going to be another round falling to front.
That is a heartbreaker. I was talking up so much how, both of these teams are adapting really quickly and throwing random stuff out the playbook, but of course, what finishes it? What completely shuts me up is going to be a full rush B with pistols, and somehow, some way, it completely overwhelms Ajax to start with, and apparently everybody else gets traded out, and there's no kit in play. Team Front, that was brilliant by them to immediately get the bomb down, because there's really nothing Team Verum could do other than hopefully win those gunfights, and quite obviously, we saw the result of that.
Now, here's the interesting thing that I've been thinking about as this T side from Team Front progresses. Train, traditionally a CT-sided map, right? So, Team Front goes in on the T side of Train and gets a big advantage in the half. Right now, they're 7-5, but that advantage could grow even more if they continue to play the way they've been. Going into CT side, I'm scared for Verum.
You have to be. I mean, the game has become a bit more T-sided in recent history. Oh, especially with all the economy changes. That is a groaner.
Ouch.
You want to hope that Mills got that shot, but he doesn't. At least gets a way to tell the tale. Not
Mills
so
does escape, but Ajax didn't, and neither are Subarashi or Jonesy. That just leaves Mills and Mirth remaining. Sorry, Cap, scratch that. That's just going to leave Mills remaining. I think this is a pretty clear save. Bomb's going to go down, and that's going to be all she wrote.
I really feel like Team Front have just had so much of the game in their hands, economically speaking. I mean, think about how many times Team Verum have had to save, or at least take a couple of hits economically, where they've had to bring out pistols, where they've only had one hero AK or one hero op. That was exactly what you saw in this case right here, that hero op, and once again, it's going to have to be kept over into this next round. Team Front really have just They've owned this
Not
game.
even. Oh no.
This is
Ito,
terrible.
they're not even going to be able to keep the op. Their economy is in a stranglehold at the moment. Front is just saying, money?
Don't know.
My money.
Basically. I mean,
They're just
nothing more to
they're
say.
just not having a good time, dude.
It's been a rough go. Team Front, again, just having full control of this game on multiple fronts, winning every fight they need to, pace changes at the correct times, and Team Verum, all they can do is try to adapt. And while it has worked, at least for some parts of this game, some parts of this half, this is not one of those cases. It's now been a pretty one-sided affair in these past couple.
Especially now, the more that Front gets these rounds, the more it's going to snowball. Because sure, Verum
Yes.
could take this upcoming round on this force, but then they're going to have to win another one with still lackluster economy, right? Like the more rounds in a row you lose, the harder it is to get back in the game. That's the age-old CS. That's just how it works, right? So the more they let these get away from them, and right now, interesting strategy from Front. They're very, very hesitant to push in right now. Verum's doing a good job of holding down on these sites with all this util, but as the smokes dissipate, Verum's going to lose a lot of their angles.
It's because Team Verum have looked to push up a bit more than they normally do. Huge kill found by Ecstasy. We'll get to that a little bit later. But Team Verum have been slowly conditioning them into being scared of every single angle they normally pushed. Team Front, now with new information and a new pick in their hands, will quickly rush towards B, get the bomb down immediately. But a trade out is once again massive by Team Verum. We're into a 4v4 retake here last.
The 4v4 retake is what you would think would be even, but with SGM sitting backside with an op, I'd be scared for my life if I was a Verum player right now. Subarashi is going to manage to knock out Bishop. And this push from Mills could result in disaster, or it could result in a beautiful 2K. I thought as soon as he missed the shot on SGM, it was all over for him with drugs pushing up from underneath.
Do they
But
have
no,
time?
Mills
have
just
time.
flicks onto him and takes it.
They don't have time though, man. They didn't buy a kit again.
Oh my. That's so frustrating if you're
tilted.
Verum, especially if you're Mills, right? You get that 2K to close out the round, and then hey, who's gonna defuse the bomb?
Oh, no, it's not the problem with no one defused the bomb. It's that nobody had money for a defuse kit, and so they had to force that 10-second.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, hey guys, who's going to do it? Oh, I don't have a kit. I don't have a kit. Oh.
I know, it's a bad, it's a comedy routine in action, but Team Front, right now, they are making Verum the punchline.
No. Bishop, Jonesy and Ajax going to do a double push to take out SGM and Drugs, but Capybara going to get the refrag onto Ajax, leaving Jonesy all on his lonesome and being lit on fire. He's stuck in the corner with nowhere to go, and Ecstasy just jumps over the train and takes the shot. That's going to be the end of our first half with a pretty dominant showing from Team Front.
A lot of their games have been close in recent history, but this one, yeah, it feels especially one-sided as of these past couple. Control of the game economically, man, it is just so difficult to deal with sometimes. You know, I think Team Verum, you know, there's so many rounds where they didn't have a kit, they lost the time, and, you know, a very recent example for starters, but there's also so many rounds where I feel like they're stuck with USPs, Deagles, P250s, and never, like, full rifles. I can only count a handful of rounds where they actually had everything that they could hope for. And that's sort of the problem with CT side, you know? If a good team can control your eco, chase after those guns like they did onto Mills a number of times, you're going to be in a really, really rough state.
I know this is just the warm-up. That was still a beautiful shot. I just had to give my whole reaction to that. But yeah, I definitely agree that Front stranglehold on the Verum economy is... it's just demoralizing, right?
Right.
Every single round when you're going into it with inferior firepower as compared to your opponent, you're always going to be stuck at that disadvantage. And when you're stuck at that disadvantage, you just have to outplay them. And Verum just hasn't found themselves in the position where that like big big skill gap is even possible, right? These two teams in terms of skill, I believe, are pretty evenly matched. But it's just when it comes down to, hey, I have a pistol and he has an AK, I'm going to lose.
Exactly, right? I mean, all of these players, excuse me, are incredibly skilled. That there's a reason why they're 2-1 and advanced the lot of them. But these are unfair fights. Team Verum can't really come up with some sort of argument, and they're just going to be punched down. But on the T side, it becomes a lot more manageable. You can buy up AK much more frequently, and I think it's going to be a better look for them, even though historically, like you mentioned previously, this map is a bit CT-sided. Sides only mean so much, you know? Anything can happen in CS, and that's why it's such a magical game. Slow play through, though. Look at this. They're contacting all the way up. XQC is going to be in for a nasty surprise here, man.
Looking to push in Capybara, but X2C is the one who gets domed in the back of the head, execution style. Jonesy going to push into the site and drop down the ladder. He's going to be putting this bomb down ASAP, and Front's going to have to take this retake with a beautiful shot from Bishop to take out Subarashi. We're still sitting at an even 3v3. See what they can do from here. It's going to be a tough retake, but if anything I've seen from Front says literally anything, it's possible. Drug's going to take out Jonesy after that 2K, and it's down to Mills and Ajax to hold on to this.
Smoke and Kit, though. If he can pick up off his dead body, there's a real good chance. Oh, but he's not going to be given the space! That's really heads up by Mills. Incredibly heads up by Mills. One thing that I was eyeing the entire time is the fact that one player bought a smoke and a defuse kit. And there was a counterplay in that from Team Verum where they're going to toss out a Molotov onto the bomb. But obviously you can just smoke it out and get a nice defuse. And if you're lucky, you know, if you just have 5 seconds to yourself, that round will go your way and you can snatch it for free. That was incredibly scary, but Team Verum, it does go their way, man. And a force up for both sides means that we're going to see another brawly one.
Well, you know, of course you see the other 2 guns bought by Drugs and by someone who is now dead, that being Ecstasy. But like, this is definitely much more firepower on the side of Verum, of course, here. The force up definitely working out in their favor thus far. It's been brought down to oh, that Deagle shot looks scary, and he does manage to get it. He takes out Ajax. He's trying to take out Subarashi, but Subarashi's just going to retreat. And now it's Jonesy and Subarashi versus Bishop on, what is that, like 2 health?
Yep, 2 health and a dream. Like a pretty sudden blow of cold air would probably kill him at this point.
Gust of wind comes in from heaven on high and knocks him over. He sees the tip of his head, and Mirth going to finish off the round. Verum's definitely still in this. There's still a lot more CS to play in this half, and they're showing us exactly why. 2 rounds in a row, but I do want to point out that this is the exact same opening that we saw for Verum's CT side. They won the pistol, they won the force up, and then they lost the subsequent round. So they've got to hold on to it here to avoid falling into the same trap that they fell into on their CT side. And I hope, for their sake, that they can make it work.
And once again, they're trying to stack one place uniquely, and instead of B, it's actually going to be over towards A, but Jonesy has spotted nothing, and so he should be kind of waving a red flag at his teammate. Yeah, man! The firing squad is actually such a legit technique, and it's already caught off Mills.
It's been so long since I've seen a trained firing squad. That was beautiful execution to finish off Mills, but Jonesy got his Uzi in here pushing in, going to take out SGM, and he wants to take another. He's going to be pushed by Drugs. He takes out Drugs. Ecstasy and Bishop are not far behind. He takes out another. He gets the 3rd. That's going to be a beautiful execution, and Ajax just going to clean up Capybara to close out the round, but oh my goodness, he cannot be stopped.
Isn't it beautiful, man? Those eco kills are going to do so much to help your ego and your eco. So it really is an important round for Jonesy and the rest of Team Verum to put together. That means Jonesy, who's now sitting at 21-10 for his KD, is going to have an AK-47 in play. And up against the rifles of Team Fronts, that one-shot potential can actually go surprisingly far. And, oh, look at this. Team Verum are already looking to adapt. They're just going to immediately push in over towards B. I'm really getting deja vu of exactly what Team Front did in that first half.
Yeah, and Team Verum with the quick push On,
Ooh, good trade.
on the B site, they're going to that is a beautiful trade. Bomb's going to be going down. Jonesy going to take out Capybara and pushing in here. Verum most certainly has the advantage as long as Jonesy turns around in time, and he does. He's a little bit too intent on the door where nobody's walking through. Drugs and Bishop going to be the last two remaining. Bishop's going to push around this corner, and he's going to find himself outmatched by Mirth. Fantastic kill there, and Subarashi holding onto this site alongside his team, and that's going to be an easy kill on a blinded Bishop for the 9th round on the board for Verum. We were a little bit worried going into this T side, right? But hey, 4 rounds in a row, not looking too bad.
Well, it's 4 rounds in a row for starters, but it's about to be 5. Or at least it should be 5. We saw what happened in that last eco from Team Front, where they only had pistols in play. That was mostly USPs. There's a couple of Deagles, actually 4 Deagles, I should be exact here, plus a P250, and, well, one of those Deagles is already dead. But, I mean, the eco is just going to really be super harmful for Team Frontier. If they could just win all their gunfights convincingly, suddenly we're looking at a completely different landscape for rounds.
That was just so much happening all at the same time. We see kill after kill after kill from both sides, and what was looking like a promising round for Front, despite the eco buy, suddenly turned into a 2v1
This is
with
still
a
promising.
lot of executions all at the same time. Now Subarashi is going to be pushing out, looking for this gunfight versus Capybara, while Mills pushes back.
This is winnable. Oh, yeah.
It's no longer winnable because he got shot.
Oh, that was so scary, though. The fact that he got Subarashi there, man. I'm still breathing
No,
heavy.
like turning that into a 1v1 is definitely like the optimal situation for that, right? Like
For an
I'd
eco,
much
yeah.
prefer a 2v1 than a 2v2, but he is going to just get opt, and hey, ain't no surviving that.
Yeah, you need some specialty armor for that one. I don't think that actually comes in form
Starting
of
off
CS
this
just yet.
site push, look at all these grenades flying in to the site.
Fake
That's a whole
exec.
lot of utility gone immediately. We see still a few flashes remaining on the Verum side, but hey, a whole bunch were thrown in. Subarashi going to be chucking the molly down the ladder, trying to hold on to that angle. But no gunfights have been initiated left. We see Ecstasy trying to hold on to this angle. Meanwhile, Bishop is looking for a push that might not be coming. Look at this. They're very, very intent on the T side spawn at A, but the Verum roster is pushed around behind at B site. If they push in now, they'll have no idea. Ecstasy and Capybara will be caught completely unaware, and there they are. They have no idea. It's going to rely on an SGM pushing back in to take out Ajax, but immediately following, we've
That's a
got
bomb.
the 3v2 scoreline. Ooh, Capybara, though, will not say die. This site is mine, and you're going to have to pry it from my cold, dead hands. Mills, though, going to give it his best shot. And what a shot it is. He's all on his lonesome, but he's got a hell of a rifle to make it work with. He's got to go to the other side, though. Throwing out a flash, and let's see what he can do with this now. Mills just looking for this fight with Bishop. If it's at range, Mills takes it. If it's close up, I can see Bishop doing it. Bomb's going to be going down. See what he can do. He picks up the AK. He has no idea that Bishop is around that corner, though. This could decide everything. We've got the 10-10 scoreline. Let's see who goes up 11, and it's going to be Team Front. Bishop just plays ring around the rosy with Mills there, and he has no idea, caught completely unaware.
Oh, Lord. There's a lot to take away from that 1v1, however. Mills, I think, originally started out playing it really smart, but I think the only reason it didn't work is because they never fell for the bait, Bishop. Like, what originally Mills was trying to do there was fake A by tossing a flash out, and that should have, in theory, been the cue for Bishop to make his way over. But I don't think he actually heard the sound of that pop exploding, and then Mills just made a ton of noise stomping around by that oil tanker at B, and it was just a matter of time until Bishop found it. He would just have to play ring around the rosy, and eventually he finds himself the winner and with a pocket full of posies. I've always wanted to say that line. I'm not going to lie, man.
Ashes, they all fall down, especially with all these Molotovs coming into sight, my friend. This is going to be an interesting push from Verum. They found themselves stringing together not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 rounds all in a row until Team Front rallies and holds on to the lead. Team Verum still has not found themselves at an actual round lead for quite some time, so these next few rounds are going to be absolutely critical. Maybe if they can take this round, they can apply the exact same economic chokehold that that Front applied to them earlier in the game, and that would certainly be something to see.
Gotta appreciate SGM going for the wall bang.
You gotta try. Come on, man. Like, you gotta give it a shot, right? At least, like, if it works, awesome. Free kill. If it doesn't work, oh well, just a few bullets.
Right? Yeah. His life isn't being threatened by it. But everybody's lives should be threatened very soon, though. Team Verum, I think, just waiting out these smokes before they start pushing through. Look at what X2C is doing. Oh, this is massive. Absolutely huge from X2C. He gets a player out as they set up for the smoke, so that's going to immediately cause a couple of red flags for Team Front to make their way over towards the site. And this is exactly where the execution is beginning. Subarashi trying to close the distance because he realizes just how bad of a situation this is, but there's nothing going their way. Team Verum shut down at every single avenue. And what a wonderful play by X2C. The communication on point and the round even more so. This is 12 for the CTs, and Team Verum have no answer economically and mentally.
Oh no. That was just about the worst case scenario possible. The only thing that could have made it even worse is if the entire Team Front lineup survived. But making it through that critical force buy with only one casualty, hey, that hurts. Right? You can't be letting that happen if you're this Verum roster. And I'd like to take a moment while we're having this this little pause to look at the KDs, right?
Right.
On Team Verum, Jonesy is having a standout performance, but it's just seeming like he's lacking a little bit of backup in the firepower department. Meanwhile, over on Verum, we see players like X2C only showing up, you know, in those critical moments, but when they show up, they really show up. He gets that kill, that eco kill, not to mention, to completely dismantle the push and get a free gun and set his team up to execute the entirety of Verum. You can't ask for more out of a player.
It's the small things that are making such a big difference. The kills, just overwhelmingly going the way of Team Front. And another small thing that actually might help with the kills for Team Front is the fact that they actually brought out a double op into this round too last.
Ooh, I didn't even notice that. Oh, this could be scary, especially with players like SGM and Bishop. SGM specifically, who's been so terrifying with the op throughout this entire game. Going to be holding this angle that Mirth is about to push up into. I wonder if he can manage to get this early kill. He is just going to fall back. Never you mind.
This is really smart, though, by Team Verum. They don't want to commit too early because they only have one powerful rifle to exactly call their own. They'll be grouping up, you know, maybe a bit of a meeting, and it seems that it's going to be an A exec by the way that they're set up in positions. Double smokes available, so I'm guessing those are for Z as well as maybe back by Ivy. But this is a pretty one-dimensional push. I'm a bit scared. Oh, they have Mills, I think, maybe to act as a lurk. He's going to need to be massive here, man.
Mills is going to have to either wipe out their entire team
okay.
or just get hit by a frag grenade. That works too, buddy. And Subarashi going to get taken down in style by SGM on the retreat too. The bomb's going to be planted, but with only 2 players remaining, one in the smoke, and one goes down around the train. That's going to be a quick and easy retake from Verum. Or sorry, by Team Front, not even losing a man to it. And that's going to be a 13-10 scoreline. Ito, this is looking very, very scary for Team Verum.
Incredibly scary, yeah, definitely, but not unwinnable. Because, again, when you zoom out a little bit, you have to keep in mind that was just a bit of an eco round from Team Verum. Now, they did have a hero rifle in Mirth's hands, but he's more than able to reinvest. It was a gamble that they took and lost out on. I don't even feel like that double op was that, you know, incredulous in this round.
Didn't even really come into play. I think the only playmaker there was SGM destroying them on the site take. But in the end, it was just a full execution from the entire team. And Mills, ouch, 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 going to fall to drugs.
Suba!
X2C going to get 2, looking for his 3rd, but he's not quite going to find it. And this is going to bring us to a slightly injured Subarashi and Ajax. Never mind, more than slightly injured Subarashi falling to the shot through the wall there.
Oh, they know.
Ajax all on his lonesome, and SGM just going to execute like he's been doing all game long, taking him out.
You're pointing out Jonesy previously for popping off, and yeah, that's fair. He's at 24 right now. But I think
He's
Super
been at 24 for like 5 rounds straight is the big thing.
Yeah, just around there too, yeah. But I mean, I think Super Rashi is another one of those players that maybe doesn't exactly have the backup that he really needs. Because in that round he was huge. He has been entry fragging so well onto A, and I think at least every single round he has gotten 1, maybe 2 picks. Not in this round though. He's gotten 0. It's another quick exec through, but I don't even feel necessarily confident that they can get maybe more than 2 kills here. Wait a second.
There's 2. Hang on. Mills all on his lonesome versus Bishop and Grave. And Grave is going to close it out. That's the 15th down. Oh boy. Team Verum has to play flawlessly if they want even a shot at the OT now.
Oy. You have to believe.
I could believe. It's possible.
Right? It's a scary situation they put themselves in, but they have enough to buy. And so you can go ahead and chalk that up to a potential victory for Team Verum, but I haven't seen anything all too convincing. It's like you said, it was just such a dismal CT half for them, where this T side doesn't seem to be faring much better. Now, sure.
Now, their their T side fared very well to open it up. But when it came to just holding on to the lead that they almost built themselves, that's when it really started to fall apart. Front went, hey, you get 5, but we get the rest. Right?
Around there, yeah. I mean, maybe this could be 6.
Ooh,
This is a
beautiful
2v5
shot from Mirth.
2v4 that we're looking at.
Mirth makes a beautiful shot to take out another player from front,
What
and
a
that's going to leave
shot,
SGM and Bishop by themselves. But if anyone can do it, it's most certainly SGM and his best friend, the Op, because he gets another one. Mirth and Jonesy going to hold on to this site by themselves while Ajax looks out for some more kills. Let's see if he can get any.
I mean, there's going to be saving here, so in a perfect world for Team Front, they wouldn't allow Mirth to find any more. Been a bit of a drought for him. Hasn't gotten a ton of kills in this game. Sitting at 14. Not that Ajax, I suppose, is doing any better. He's at 13. But we can point at these numbers all we want, but it's the impact that really matters. This would be huge if they actually found these guns, though, right, Team Verum? Because, you know, the Ops really have...
This could be big. If he pushes out into here, but no, we're just going to close out the round. I just noticed how much SGM spent that round. 7,500 is bit of an investment, but considering he lived to tell the tale, not a bad one for sure.
Yeah, that's probably just tossing a gun over to your friend, your lad. This is why they need to save that double op, though. They have enough money to buy up one more time, but if they didn't, we're looking at a completely different situation and possibly 12 rounds for sure for Team Verum. Now that it's still a bit of a toss-up.
Pushing in here onto site, it looks like they're already going to commit pretty hard to B, but they do have 2 lurkers over towards A, that being Jonesy and Mills. Drugs, though, has the opportunity, if he decides to take it, to push up in here. He's looking for the wall bang, so he gives away his position. And, oh no. This could be big if they push into SGM's op right here. But... this B site is being held down almost completely. And look at that. 3 players pushed onto A. They're very hesitant to make this push. Verum seems like they're undecided on whether or not they actually want to push.
Counter smoke in play. Team Verum looking just to pop out here. I'm wondering what Q they're exactly looking for. I think they're going to be tossing out a couple of smokes towards B. Yeah. Mills is going to be tossing one out at the top by Rafters. They're going to try to sell this into a fake, but the bomb is about to burst out A. This is a really good move. This is a Mills call if I have ever seen one, but there's a player sitting in heaven. You have to be afraid of drugs. Do you dare to take him off?
Bishop is another person you have to be very afraid of. Bishop going to take 2, 3. Can he keep on counting? I don't know if I can count any higher than 3, so please calm down, Bishop.
You're going to have to count to 4 soon. Look where he's creeping up. Never mind, you're only going to have to count to 3. You're in luck, man. You are in luck.
Capybara going to take 1, not going to take 2. Mills is going to take 2, knocking down Ecstasy and Capybara. And SGM, though, going to take the number that comes after 3.
Well, hey, in Team Front, they're going to discover the number that comes after 15 as they've moved on to 16.
How can I be so lonely? Even when we're alone. Caught me when I was falling. No one can fix my heart. I dare you just to try. Sitting on the side of your bed like wide awake, I'm asking how love gets faded like a broken promise.
No, that's definitely like a big win, especially on another team that has previously, not anymore, but previously had an identical record to them. So taking down Team Verum, fantastic showing from Team Front, and I personally can't wait to see what they get moving on further into the season.
I'm playing hide and seek love when no one else to find. You're not the one that I look for when I close my eyes. I'm playing hide and seek love when no one else to find. When no one else to find.
I think the biggest thing that you mentioned a second ago was that Jonesy had a fantastic game, but really, he had a fantastic first half, and that's the big thing. Jonesy got 24 kills or something around that line. I lost the stat sheet before we closed out, but going into the second half, he sat at that 24 kill line for quite some time. It definitely wasn't like him continuing to be the big fragger, the big carry throughout that T side. It was more on CT when he shined, and as soon as it switched to T side where he wasn't doing quite as well, his team just didn't really step up to cover for him. I think I agree with you. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so at L4ST_V1. I post when I go live with casting. I post dumb memes at 3 a.m. if you want to get in on that. But I cast CSGO, I cast Valorant, and I cast Smash a whole lot. If you're interested in any of those games, Ito, I think it's your turn. Always the pleasure.
I'm reaching out, and my heart is with you. So much in between, things we've never seen. You're a mirage that my mind can't see through. Are you here with me? One day we can see. And all my life, unbroken ways, but I know that time makes ways. But I know that time makes ways. And all my life, unbroken ways, but I know that time makes ways. But I know that time makes ways.